Okay, welcome to lesson 4.2. This section we're going to be discussing government in the U.S. economy. We're going to explain the ways the government protects citizens and businesses and also describe the ways in which the government acts as a business. Governments enact laws that protect individuals and businesses in the marketplace. These laws are enacted or established to protect the citizens' rights. So here's some examples of how they do that. They enforce contracts. A contract is an agreement to exchange goods and services for something of value, usually money. It's called a contract. To be enforceable, however, contracts must include the following basic elements. It needs to have an agreement. That means that an offer must be made, and also the offer must be accepted by the other party. And it must have competent parties, which means that the people involved in the contract need to first be of legal age and also need to be mentally competent. Consideration. That means that something in the contract needs to have measurable value to be exchanged. And legality. That means that it must not be fraudulent or be deceptive. Okay, protecting intellectual property rights. So intellectual property is it's purely intangible with no physical characteristics. A person cannot touch it. Intellectual property includes patents, copyrights, trademarks. So a patent is something that's given to an inventor. This gives them the exclusive rights to make the product. And a copyright is something that is to protect the creative work. Some examples would be like an author, an artist, or a composer. Trademarks, that's normally like either a word or a letter or a symbol that's associated with a specific company or a product. So some examples would be like the Nike swoosh or the golden arches of McDonald's. Those are all trademarks. Okay. So, regulating public utilities is another thing that the government does when acting as a business. A public utility is an organization that supplies a good or service to all citizens' need and use. These include your local telephone services, your water, and your gas and electricity. Government as a business. So how they operate as a business, they buy goods and services. And how they do that is by, some examples would be like they purchase police vehicles, road repair materials, materials to build roads, telephone services, that type of thing. They also employ workers. So as a group, the government is the largest employer in our economy. Some examples of the employers that they employ would be like police officers, firefighters, teachers. They also employ accountants and lawyers and administrative staff. The list goes on and on. And then also raising revenue. So in order to make the buying of goods and services happen, they need to raise money. So how they do that is by enacting taxes such as like sales tax. And they use that money then to turn around and buy the goods and services. And then they also borrow money. So how they borrow money, they do this through issuing bonds. So if you purchase a bond, what you're essentially doing is lending the government money that they use. Then they lend that to the government that's issuing the bond. And then they use that money then to buy the goods and services. All right, so that ends chapter 4.2. I think we have one more section in this chapter to cover, and then we will be discussing your test for this chapter. So make sure you go back, read this chapter, this section. Make sure, again, you use your study guide, fill it in as you're going. That will help you better be prepared for the test. Okay, thanks.